Every parent has a least favorite child, especially your mum. I know you're an only child, that just means you lack competition. WWE's least favorite child has always been Survivor Series, the pay-per-view that has kept there from being a WWE Big Three. And while the theme of big ol' elimination tag matches might not be as exciting a hook as the Royal Rumble or WrestleMania, there have been some good ones as well, made that way by their teams. We're going to be looking at the very best teams that number 4 of the WWE Big Four has ever presented, with emphasis put on team construction and team performance. I'm Tempest, hailing from partsFUNknown, and these are the 10 greatest Survivor Series teams of all time. Before we get on with this list, of course, make sure that you like this video, subscribe, and enable notifications to always on so you never miss a fun list just like it, and check out the new episode of Survival Series right here on PFK, featuring yours truly. Honorable Mention, The Elite, and The Dark Order. Remember when AEW did a Survivor Series elimination match on Dynamite that one time and it was awesome? Yeah, shout out to those guys. Number 10, The Shield and the Real Americans, 2013. This was a bad year for Survivor Series because nothing says Big Four pay-per-view quite like Randy Orton vs. Big Show for the WWE Championship in the main event. The rest of this show wasn't great either, but the lone highlight came in its opener. On one side you had the brothers Rhodes, the brothers Uso, and Rey Mysterio, a very good start, but opposite them was The Shield and Cesaro, which is enough to get me through the door and sit my ass in a ticketed seat. Also, Jack Swagger was there. But while this would be another good Survivor Series match on paper, where this match excels is in its presentation of Roman Reigns. Before everyone hated the big dog, here he was, cold as and even on a stacked team of killers, and also Jack Swagger, eliminated 4 out of 5 babyfaces to overcome a massive early deficit and win the match. This was the first truly brilliant solo performance of Roman's career, and if this was the Roman we always got, maybe people wouldn't have turned on him. Number 9, Team Miz, 2009. Again, on paper, this team might not seem like much. The Miz, Sheamus, Drew McIntyre, Dolph Ziggler, and Jack Swagger again. Will you get out of here? You might think this seems pretty mid-card for 2009, and you would be right, but that was the point. This was a Future Stars match, with these 5 future world champions standing opposite John Morrison and his team of babyface underdogs. Sure, not many of them stuck the landing as world champions in WWE, but this was WWE actually trying to build new stars and doing a really solid job with it, as Miz, Sheamus, and McIntyre all stood tall, and then one pay-per-view later all 3 of them had belts, with Sheamus's belt being the big spinny one. It isn't often that WWE makes a statement with several young stars in one go, and they will be commended when they do it. Also, Sheamus accidentally knees the referee in the head in this match, and he gives himself the dreaded X sign. Watch your head, Stripes. Number 8, Team Authority, 2014. Now this may seem low to you given how magnificent the Survivor Series match is, but the actual teams in this match? On one end, you have John Cena and his band of merry men, including but not limited to babyface Ryback and the Vintner Eric Rowan, and while Team Authority certainly still has its blemishes in the form of Corporate Kane and an early elimination from Mark Henry, Seth Rollins, Luke Harper, and Rusev round out a pretty darn great heel team that is most certainly carried by its frontman. Still one of the most legendary performances of Seth Rollins' WWE career, and while he may not have been able to lead Team Authority to victory, he was able to make it damn close in an incredible battle with Dolph Ziggler. And hey, ultimately he was able to reverse the decision of this match, so in the end, it's almost like he won here anyway. Number 7, Team DX, 2006. You won't find a much more dominant performance from a Survivor Series team than this one. The Hardys, Triple H and his best friend CM Punk, and also Shawn Michaels, made up this super team of popular babyfaces, and after a brief bit of comedy involving CM Punk being the most popular man in the ring, the match began and then promptly ended for poor old Mike Knox as HBK asked who he was. I don't think he ever truly recovered. Shawn Michaels and Melina share a tender moment, and then the good guy simply swept the field, eliminating Gregory Helms and his stupid sunglasses Titantron, Johnny Nitro, and both members of Rated RKO. DX in 2006 were the furthest thing from a serious tag team, so this match fit that level of unseriousness, even if it was in the middle of a fairly heated rivalry with Edge and Orton. But this match is just a stupid fun squash where the good guys win, and every once in a while, I have time for that in my wrestling. Number 6, Team Austin, 2003. Man, this has to be the most iconic thing Shawn Michaels has ever done at Survivor Series. I can't think of a single other thing. Another all-time great Survivor Series team that wound up on the losing end of things was Team Austin. featuring not Steve Austin, but Shawn Michaels, Booker T, Rob Van Dam, and the Dudleys. This was the match where Team Austin represented Old Stone Cold against Team Bischoff to see who would get to continue running Raw, and while it starts as an even back and forth match, things quickly turn in Bischoff's favor, with only Shawn Michaels left to fend off Christian, Chris Jericho, and Randy Orton. What we then got was one of the all-time greatest Survivor Series performances from the Showstopper, who, covered in blood, managed to eliminate both Jericho and Christian, while Stone Cold delivered an all-time great Stone Cold Stunner to Randy Orton before HBK fell to a Batista bomb. It is a brilliant match, complete with yet another show-stealing outing from HBK, who once again proved to be his team's MVP at Survivor Series. Number 5, Team NXT 2019. 2019, when we learned that all you needed to do to freshen up brand warfare is throw 30 new faces onto a show. Team NXT took part in the least traditional Survivor Series tag team match on this list, with this being a 5-on-5-on-5 match, but to me that's just 33 1/3% more fun. Thank you, Scott Steiner. Look at this collection of talent assembled by Papa H to represent the Black and Gold. Tommaso Ciampa, Damian Priest, Matt Riddle, Keith Lee, and Walter. Now, of course, this match gets serious points off for eliminating Walter first at less than 3 minutes in. What the f*** are you playing at, Vince? Did you take your meds today? But otherwise, this team is stacked, and this match goes hard. It is a very good time throughout, but of course, this match is rightfully best remembered for being by far the best main roster outing of Keith Lee's WWE career. Going toe-to-toe, blow for blow, with Roman Reigns as the final two men in the match before finally falling victim to a spear, with the crowd going crazy hoping to see a breakout moment, should have been the start of something huge for Keith Lee, but unfortunately it would always be yet another massive what if. Number 4, Team SmackDown 2016. The first time post-2016 brand split, the WWE attempted to do brand warfare at Survivor Series, and one of the only times that decision paid dividends. Both sides of this match were loaded with star power, and on the blue team you had WWE Champion and 2016 Wrestler of the Year AJ Styles leading the way, followed by rival Dean Ambrose, GM Shane McMahon for some reason, as well as Randy Orton and Bray Wyatt, who would end up being this match's survivors to the surprise of many. This is arguably the greatest Survivor Series tag match of all time, clocking in at 52 minutes with everyone getting their own moment to shine, whether it be Dean doing a Shield reunion powerbomb on his own partner, Orton sacrificing himself to save Wyatt, or Shane getting concussed. Star-studded from top to bottom, given an avenue to steal the show, and enough time to properly develop and further stories. This SmackDown team was one that made you think that this wasn't the B show to anyone. Well, number 3, Team Raw 2016. Okay, maybe not everyone. While Team SmackDown brought plenty of oomph to this match's bloom, Team Raw didn't have Shane McMahon on it, thus it places ever so slightly higher. Jokes aside, this team ranks high because of its own merit as well, as it's made up of Universal Champion Kevin Owens, best friend Chris Jericho, Braun Strowman, and Shield mates Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns. That is a stacked team. And similar to their blue counterparts, they had enough time to properly tell stories over the course of this near hour-long match, whether it be Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho teasing dissension when KO destroyed Jericho's list by using it as a weapon, or the aforementioned Shield reunion, or Braun Strowman scaring off James Ellsworth. Everyone got something to do. I really could talk about this match all day long. I love it that much. 10 years I waited for a WWE pay-per-view in Toronto, and I was not disappointed. Number 2, Team Alliance 2001. Yes, let's all point and laugh at the team representing WCW and ECW being led by Steve Austin, Kurt Angle, and Shane McMahon. Ha ha! Now that that's all over with, let's all bask in how awesome this team actually is. I mean, Steve Austin, Kurt Angle, and Shane McMahon is one thing, but add in Booker T and Rob Van Dam, and you have an Attitude Era all-star team. There is a reason this match topped our list of terrible rivalries that led to great matches earlier this year, and it is that no matter how bad the Invasion storyline may have been botched, it can't take anything away from how awesome this Survivor Series match is. The various turns throughout the match may be one last convoluted swerve in a long convoluted story, but it adds intrigue that lasts all the way until the very end of the match when the Alliance is finally done away with for good. The way we all thought the WWF versus WCW rivalry would end, with Steve Austin facing The Rock. And number 1, Team WWF 2001. Listen, Team WWF didn't have Shane McMahon on it, what can I say? I could simply copy and paste everything I just said about this incredible match, but I really must put over this lineup of WWF defenders, with The Rock leading the way, with Chris Jericho behind him, as well as the Brothers of Destruction, and also Big Show, I suppose. Team WWF at the very least had 5 people who thematically should have been representing the company in a final showdown with the Alliance. This is a lot of people's favorite Survivor Series match of all time, and it is not hard to understand why, what with the 45 minutes of action and some impossibly high stakes, but I think the biggest factor for people's love of this match is very simple. It has the biggest stars. You have Steve Austin and The Rock on opposite sides of a Survivor Series match, and it makes the match feel like the biggest of its kind. The metric ton of star power on Team WWF alone is enough to make this the biggest Survivor Series match of all time, and that doesn't even take Shane McMahon into consideration, which, honestly, we always have to do. And that's our list. Please make sure that you like this video and check out this clip from the latest episode of Survival Series.
It's Survival Series' first birthday.
Woo!
Yay.
I have no idea what to expect, other than to win, of course. I just wanted to do one of these, but you guys really liked it, so, you know. Woo! Let's go! Oh, God.